Since Goodbye Christopher Robin is in theaters right now, I decided to conclude my Winnie the Pooh movie review series with Winnie the Pooh, the one that came out in 2011. Well, what is this new Winnie the Pooh movie? Well, Winnie the Pooh is basically, I guess, another reboot of the Winnie the Pooh series. They never outright say it, and people don't really think of it as a reboot, but I do tend to think of it as a reboot because, I mean, there's a lot of differences from the original movies, or actually technically even those movies, the Tigger movie, Piglet's Big movie, and Pooh's Heffalump movie, those are probably also reboots. So yeah, this is the second reboot of the franchise. And in my opinion, this is the second best Winnie the Pooh movie we've ever gotten. One thing I really loved about this movie is that it went back to how Winnie the Pooh originally started, which is basically, you know, this little story that happened inside of a book and the characters interact with the book. I really like that. It allows for a lot of comedy and a lot of variety, and it probably also helps that this is probably the funniest Winnie the Pooh movie we've ever gotten. I'm serious, this movie is hilarious, even. I mean, the dialogue is funny, the banter between the characters is funny, like I said, the interaction with the book is funny. This is a really, really funny movie. The funniest part in this movie is definitely the scene involving tying a knot. That scene is comedic gold in my opinion. It is fantastic writing. So what is this movie about? Well, it's about Pooh and his friends discovering that Christopher Robin has gone missing, and so they think that this thing called the Baxen took him. I'm not going to say how they came to that conclusion, because it's really funny. That's basically it. Hijinks ensue, and we have ourselves a really funny movie. Now, unlike Piglet's Big movie and Pooh's Heffalump movie where they're trying to capture something, at least in this movie, there's a justifiable reason, because they assume that the Baxen has taken Christopher Robin, and they only want Christopher Robin after they, hopefully catch the Baxen. So at least with this, there's more leeway because, like I said, I mean, the reason is justifiable, and they only want Christopher Robin. Another thing I really gotta praise this movie over are the songs. The songs in this are so good. Like, this is the same people who did Frozen, and the Book of Mormon, and probably some other Disney movies, or, well, movies in general, that I can't really think of right now, but they are incredibly talented in this movie. I mean, really, really talented. It's like the Sherman Brothers came back for this movie, even though, of course, they didn't. I could get the entire soundtrack for this movie, it's so good. You have the Baxen song, it's gonna be great. The song that Tigger sings, A Pooh Bear Always Takes Care of His Tummy, Everything is Honey. All of these songs are so good, and they're just so pleasant to listen to, and especially with the Baxen song, it's just also a little bit thrilling for kids. And that's one thing I love about Winnie the Pooh, is that, if you make it good enough, like, you can still have this G-rated film, and yet be completely accessible to adults, because, I mean, kids aren't the only ones who are able to watch these movies. This movie doesn't really talk down to kids, and especially this new movie, well, not really new, it came out in 2011, because, like I said, this is the funniest Winnie the Pooh movie yet, and I'm still laughing so hard at these jokes. And the cast in this is surprisingly pretty big. I mean, and by big, I mean like the bigger stars. Now, of course, Jim Cummings comes back to play Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, but they've also gotten Craig Ferguson to play Owl, which, wow. And another really cool thing is that they got Tom Kenny to play Rabbit. Now, when I first saw this movie, like, I didn't know they replaced most of the cast from the previous installments. But, I mean, I am fine with it. And when I heard Rabbit for the first time, it didn't really dawn on me, but the more he started talking, I started going, wait a minute, this voice is starting to sound familiar. And then sure enough, the cogs in my brain were turning, and I'm like, oh my god, that's Tom Kenny. That is brilliant. Because Tom Kenny, like Jim Cummings, is one of the best voice actors out there. He has great comedic timing and delivery. Also, I do kind of think it's funny that Jim Cummings and Tom Kenny are reunited, because, I mean, if you don't know, they played Cat Dog. Well, like, Jim Cummings played Cat and Tom Kenny played Dog. I mean, what more can you really ask for? Another thing that works in this movie's favor is that since it is a reboot, or at least I can consider it a reboot because there's no mention of the previous movies, so I can only assume this is a reboot. But the characters are allowed to be a little bit more cynical with the comedy. Like, they're not like absolute jerks to each other, like they're not like South Park, but they are a little bit more edgy with their comedy. Like, for example, a few of the characters think that they've caught the Baxon in this trap, and they're arguing over who should go down there and check. And then Rue says, "Send the pig," referring to Piglet. And like I said, I'm okay with this because this is more likely than not a reboot. So the characters are allowed to be a little bit more different than how we've usually seen them. And so I was really wondering why we haven't gotten another Winnie the Pooh movie yet, because this movie has like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a really great rating. That's one of the highest ratings of animated movies that year. So why haven't we gotten a new Winnie the Pooh movie? Well, sadly, and I really hate to say this, Winnie the Pooh is just not profitable. He's just not. I mean, when you look at this movie, the production budget of Winnie the Pooh, the 2011 version, was $30 million. And it made only $33 million worldwide, and only around $26 million in the United States. So, in the United States, it bombed. It was a trash heap in the box office. And when you really look at the Winnie the Pooh movies as they went on, the movies just started making less and less money at the box office. And that's a real shame. These movies are really good at least. And two of them are pretty much perfect in my opinion. So I think it's safe to assume that we're not going to see any more Winnie the Pooh movies for a good long time. Winnie the Pooh, the 2011 version, rejuvenated the franchise. It made it strong again. And if this is the last one we're going to get for quite some time, then it ended with a bang. And I'm going to give Winnie the Pooh a 10 out of 10. I'm not sure what my next reviews are going to be because, I mean, I just have a lot to do. But I do want to get some Halloween reviews up. I mean, not really the movies, not really the Halloween movies, but just movies that could be for Halloween-themed stuff. So, yeah, whatever the case, what did you think of the 2011 Winnie the Pooh movie? What do you think of Winnie the Pooh in general? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like, share the video so we can get the channel circulated, and if you want to see more, click this. Hallelujah.